Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I want to speak about something that is often whispered about but rarely spoken of with truth and compassion. It's a subject that carries weight, wrapped in silence, shame, or confusion, but it need not be so. Because if we're ever going to heal the brokenness in our homes, in our marriages, in our own hearts, we must be willing to speak honestly. When we talk about what men desire in the most private spaces of a relationship, the conversation is often reduced to surface-level assumptions. There's a cultural narrative that paints men as being purely physical in their desires, driven by instinct, focused only on the body. But beneath that outer layer, there's a depth that rarely gets acknowledged, not because it isn't real, but because many men have been taught to bury it, to never admit that they want more than just a physical experience. At the core, what men secretly crave and seldom speak out loud is emotional connection. This desire isn't always easily identified, even by the men themselves. It's hidden behind layers of conditioning, expectations, and unspoken fears. From a young age, boys are often told not to cry, not to be too sensitive, not to express their feelings too openly. As they grow into men, that lesson solidifies into silence. In the bedroom, that silence can be deafening. A man might crave closeness, warmth, a sense of being emotionally held, but feel ashamed or unsure of how to ask for it. He may instead default to physical intimacy, hoping it will create the emotional connection he doesn't know how to request. When a man desires emotional connection in bed, it doesn't mean he wants to talk through his feelings in the middle of a passionate moment, though sometimes he might. It means he wants to feel that he matters beyond his physical performance. He wants to feel that his presence is cherished, that he is being met, not just with desire, but with understanding and acceptance. In a moment of intimacy, he wants to feel safe enough to let his guard down, to be known beyond his strength, his roles, or his responsibilities. The truth is, many men experience emotional isolation. They may be surrounded by people, respected in their careers, or even admired by others, yet still feel alone in their emotional world. In the bedroom, where vulnerability meets vulnerability, they finally have a chance to be seen, not as someone who has to have it all together, but as someone who is human, who feels deeply, and who longs to connect in a way that goes far beyond skin to skin. This emotional connection might look like being touched gently, not just for arousal, but for comfort. It might sound like hearing words that affirm his worth, not just his desirability. It might come through eye contact that says, "I see you and I'm with you." It's in these small sacred moments that a man feels truly known. And when he feels known, he opens up. When he feels emotionally safe, he becomes more present. The bedroom then becomes not just a place of passion, but a sanctuary of trust and belonging. Unfortunately, many men don't feel permitted to express this need. They may fear being seen as weak, needy, or less masculine. They may not even have the language for what they're feeling, so instead they keep it in. They push through. They chase physical intimacy, hoping it will fill an emotional void, but often it doesn't, unless the connection is mutual, emotional, and real. When emotional connection is missing, the experience can feel hollow, no matter how intense it might be on the surface. But when it's present, everything changes. The bedroom becomes a place where a man can finally breathe, where he can stop performing and simply be. And that, whether spoken aloud or kept in quiet longing, is what so many men truly want. When it comes to emotional needs in a relationship, many men secretly long to feel truly desired, affirmed, and valued. Not just for what they do, but for who they are. This deep, often unspoken desire is not just rooted in physical attraction. It reaches into the very essence of a man's emotional world. In a society where masculinity is frequently associated with stoicism, strength, and self-sufficiency, it can be difficult for a man to admit that beneath all of that, he desperately wants to feel cherished and loved in a way that goes beyond the surface. Men are conditioned to believe that they should be the ones who initiate, who provide, who protect. In the context of relationships, these roles are often expected to be part of their identity. However, this can inadvertently mask a man's need for reassurance, affection, and attention. What many men secretly want is to know that they are desirable, not just as a partner in bed, but as a person, as an individual worthy of love and admiration. Feeling desired in a relationship is not just about physical attraction. It transcends mere looks or superficial interest. It's about a sense of being wanted, being craved, not in a way that feels possessive, but in a way that affirms a man's worth. It's the subtle touch that says, I'm attracted to you, to who you are, not just to what you can offer me in this moment. It's in the way a partner gazes at him, smiles at him, or shows him that his presence matters. This simple acknowledgement, often unspoken, is a powerful affirmation that makes him feel seen in a world where men are often expected to disappear into their roles. For many men, there's a deep vulnerability in this desire. Admitting a need to feel desired can seem like an admission of weakness, a contradiction to the image of strength and invulnerability they often project. But beneath the surface, men are human. They need to feel loved, wanted, and valued just as much as anyone else. When this desire is unmet, men may retreat into themselves, trying to fill the void through other means, perhaps seeking validation outside the relationship or disconnecting emotionally. The absence of this emotional affirmation leaves them feeling empty, unseen, and misunderstood. In intimate moments, this desire becomes even more pronounced. While passion and physical intimacy are important, the emotional aspect of being desired can amplify the experience to something transcendent. A man wants to know that when his partner looks at him, it's not just a transactional moment, but one filled with genuine affection, appreciation, and attraction. He wants to know that his partner desires him, not just his body, but his heart, his mind, and his spirit. It's the reassurance that despite the flaws, the mistakes, and the imperfections, he is still wanted, still loved, still worthy. The longing to feel desired also ties into a man's sense of self-worth. When a man is affirmed in this way, it strengthens his confidence, not just in the bedroom, but in every other aspect of his life. It gives him the courage to be more vulnerable, to open up emotionally, and to be present with his partner in ways that go beyond the physical act. Knowing that he is wanted for who he is, not just for what he provides, makes him feel emotionally safe and valued. This security creates space for deeper emotional intimacy, where both partners can connect on a soul-deep level. However, this is not just a desire that men want to feel in the bedroom. They want it in the everyday moments as well. A glance, a touch, a word of affirmation. These are the subtle reminders that show him he is desired and loved. These gestures create a bond that transcends the physical, reminding him that he is worthy of love and affection. This constant reinforcement of his value, not just as a provider or a protector, but as a person, is something many men crave deeply. Without it, they may feel lost, unsure of their place in the relationship, and emotionally distant. Desire, in its truest form, is not about domination or ownership. It's about mutual respect, admiration, and love. It's about acknowledging the inherent worth of the other person and expressing that in every action, every word, every moment. For men, feeling desired in this way is not just a fleeting need. It is foundational to their sense of being, their confidence, and their ability to connect on a deeper emotional level with their partner. In a relationship, when we talk about intimacy, we often focus on the physical aspects, the touch, the closeness, the passionate moments. But for many men, true intimacy is about so much more than just physical connection. It's about trust, vulnerability, and tenderness. It's about being emotionally present in ways that go beyond the surface. Men, despite their outward strength, desire tenderness in a relationship, especially in the most intimate moments. This tenderness is not a sign of weakness. It's a reflection of trust, emotional depth, and the desire to connect on a level that transcends the body. When a man experiences tenderness, it's a powerful and reassuring thing. Tenderness isn't about fragile emotions or weak affection. It's about being able to show vulnerability in a safe space. In a relationship, tenderness comes when a partner allows him to drop his guard, to be more than just the roles he's expected to play, the provider, the protector, the problem solver. Men often feel that they must constantly carry the weight of responsibility, especially in the context of relationships. But in the safe haven of intimacy, many men long for a moment where they don't have to be strong all the time, where they can let go of the pressures of the world and simply be vulnerable, open, and unguarded. This need for tenderness isn't about physical fragility, it's about emotional safety. It's the soft touch of a hand on the back, the slow and deliberate gesture that says, "I'm here with you and I'm not going anywhere." Tenderness is the way a partner listens deeply, without judgment, without rushing to fix things. It's the act of being truly present in the moment, not just physically, but emotionally. It's in the pauses between words, the quiet moments of shared understanding, the reassurance that says, "I'm not just here for the moment, but for you." For many men, tenderness can be difficult to ask for because it often feels like a departure from what society expects from them. Men are taught from a young age that they must always be the strong, unwavering presence in their relationships. But tenderness, in this sense, requires them to show their softer side, to be open and vulnerable. And this can be terrifying because it means relinquishing control. But when tenderness is offered in return, it creates a deeper bond, a bond that builds trust and opens the door for further emotional connection. There's also a deep longing for emotional presence that tenderness fosters. Men don't always need to have all their problems solved in an intimate moment. What they may want more than anything is to know that their partner is there with them, fully engaged, not distracted or emotionally distant. The tenderness of a partner who is emotionally attuned to his needs, who understands the subtle shifts in mood, who responds with empathy and care, creates a sense of emotional security that many men long for. Men often feel pressure to compartmentalize their emotions, to keep everything under control, to avoid appearing vulnerable. But in the privacy of an intimate moment, tenderness allows a man to feel safe enough to lower those walls, to let the person he loves in. It's a moment of emotional surrender, where he can experience affection without the fear of being judged or seen as weak. It's in these moments that men can feel truly known, not for their accomplishments or their external roles, but for who they are deep inside. This tenderness also builds emotional resilience in a relationship. When a man feels emotionally supported, seen, and cherished, he is more likely to reciprocate those feelings. He becomes more open to offering tenderness in return, creating a positive feedback loop of affection, care, and trust. Tenderness isn't just about receiving, it's about giving too. When both partners show tenderness to one another, it allows the emotional connection to deepen, making the relationship stronger and more enduring. The need for tenderness is not a reflection of fragility. It's an essential part of the human experience, a way to nurture emotional intimacy, to foster connection, and to create a bond that goes beyond the physical. Men, just like women, need to feel that they are cherished, not just for what they provide, but for who they are. Tenderness creates space for them to express their full range of emotions, to be vulnerable without fear, and to connect on a deeper, more meaningful level. It is the key to building a relationship that is not only physically fulfilling, but emotionally rich and lasting. In the context of relationships, respect and emotional safety are crucial components for building a strong foundation, especially in intimate settings. Many men secretly long for a sense of emotional safety in the bedroom, a place where they can feel respected, cherished, and valued for more than just their physicality. Respect goes far beyond mere acknowledgement or politeness. It's about creating a space where a man can be himself without fear of judgment, rejection, or ridicule. It's a place where he can fully embrace his vulnerabilities and express his desires without feeling self-conscious or unsure. This emotional safety becomes the bedrock upon which deeper intimacy is built. A sense that his worth is not just determined by his actions or performance, but by his identity as a whole person. The importance of respect in a relationship, particularly in the bedroom, cannot be overstated. Men, much like anyone else, need to feel that their feelings are valued, that their needs and desires are taken seriously. Often the pressure to perform can overshadow the emotional aspects of intimacy, and men can feel disconnected from their partners. In these moments, emotional respect becomes essential. When a man feels respected, he doesn't feel like he is merely a tool for his partner's satisfaction, but rather a person whose presence and feelings matter. This creates a deep sense of emotional validation, which can significantly enhance the intimacy of the moment. Many men, unfortunately, grow up in environments that reinforce the notion that they must always be strong, stoic, and in control. The idea of being emotionally vulnerable, especially in an intimate setting, can feel foreign or even uncomfortable. However, when a man is given the respect to express himself, to communicate his needs without fear of ridicule, it creates a dynamic of mutual understanding. This respect fosters trust, allowing him to shed his armor and be emotionally present. It allows him to connect not only physically, but also emotionally, to let go of the external pressures he might carry and experience intimacy on a deeper, more authentic level. This emotional safety is also about creating an atmosphere where both partners are on equal footing. It's about recognizing that intimacy is a shared experience, one that requires mutual understanding and mutual care. For a man, emotional safety means knowing that his partner sees him as a whole person, someone who is more than just a body, more than just a provider, and more than just a partner in physicality. Respecting him means acknowledging his emotional needs, his feelings, and his vulnerabilities without judgment. In return, this respect nurtures a space where both partners can open up, share their desires, and explore their connection in a way that is healthy, fulfilling, and free from insecurity. Furthermore, emotional safety in the bedroom is not about shielding a man from his insecurities or avoiding difficult conversations, but rather about creating an environment where he can confront his vulnerabilities and communicate openly without fear of being dismissed or invalidated. This emotional safety allows for a deeper connection, where both individuals can engage in a dialogue about their desires, boundaries, and concerns, and ultimately create a space where both feel heard and respected. The desire for respect and emotional safety is not limited to physical touch or verbal affirmations alone. It extends into the entire experience of intimacy. It's in the way one partner listens attentively without rushing to fix or solve. It's in the way they hold space for one another's emotions, allowing for the expression of both desires and insecurities. Emotional safety is about feeling secure enough to share without fear of vulnerability being taken advantage of. And it allows both partners to feel valued not for their performance or ability to please, but for their humanity. Men often face societal pressures to perform, to live up to unrealistic expectations regarding masculinity, strength, and emotional control. In the bedroom, where these pressures can feel most intense, emotional safety provides the freedom to disconnect from these external expectations and simply be present with one's partner. It gives room for emotional honesty, which can lead to a deeper and more enriching experience of intimacy. When a man feels respected in this way, he's more likely to return that respect, fostering a relationship based on mutual care and understanding. In many ways, emotional safety is the foundation of trust in a relationship. Without it, even the most physically satisfying encounters can feel empty or transactional. When respect and emotional safety are present, however, intimacy becomes a shared journey, one that strengthens the connection between partners and cultivates a deeper bond. It's a space where both individuals can thrive, knowing that they are valued for who they truly are. When we look at the foundation of lasting intimacy in relationships, one key element is often overlooked: the connection between love and performance. In the heat of passionate moments, many may assume that physical attraction and sexual performance are the primary components of a satisfying relationship. However, for many men, true intimacy goes far beyond these aspects. What many men secretly want is not just excitement or physical satisfaction, but a love that endures, one that goes beyond the fleeting and superficial. This enduring love is not based on performance or physical prowess, but is instead built on a deeper emotional connection, trust, and understanding. Men, like anyone else, desire more than just physical pleasure. They yearn for connection, not only during moments of passion, but also in the quiet spaces that come before and after. Men often feel the pressure to perform, to meet expectations set by societal standards, or even by their partner's desires. However, when the focus of intimacy becomes centered on performance, it can create a barrier to true connection. Performance is external, but love is internal. When men feel that love is unconditional, not based on their ability to satisfy or to meet certain expectations, they can experience a deeper sense of intimacy. They no longer feel like they are just playing a role or fulfilling a task. They feel like they are being loved for who they truly are. This shift from performance to connection is essential for long-lasting intimacy. When both partners in a relationship focus on nurturing love and trust, intimacy becomes more than just a physical act. It becomes a shared experience that is about deepening the bond between two people, creating a space where emotional and physical needs are met, not through performance, but through mutual care and attention. This is not to say that passion or excitement are irrelevant. They certainly have their place. However, when passion is grounded in love and emotional connection, it becomes richer, more fulfilling, and far more satisfying. For men, the pressure to perform often stems from the expectation that they must always be the one who initiates, drives, and leads the physical aspects of intimacy. This expectation can create anxiety, making it difficult to relax and truly engage in the experience. When love, rather than performance, becomes the foundation of intimacy, the pressure to be perfect fades away. A man can relax, be present in the moment, and open up to his partner in ways that are not driven by external expectations, but by mutual respect and emotional connection. Furthermore, love that is not tied to performance allows men to express their vulnerabilities. In relationships where performance is emphasized, men may feel as though they are only valued for their physical abilities or their ability to meet certain desires. This can create emotional walls where men feel disconnected from their partner. However, when intimacy is rooted in unconditional love, there is room for both partners to show vulnerability, to open up emotionally, and to engage with one another on a deeper level. This level of emotional connection strengthens the relationship and creates a sense of security and trust that goes beyond the physical act. Men often find it difficult to articulate this need for love without performance, particularly in the bedroom. They may not always express it clearly, but the need is there. They want to feel loved and valued for who they are, not just for what they can provide in terms of physical pleasure. They want to feel that their worth is not tied to how well they perform, but to the depth of their connection with their partner. This emotional bond makes them feel seen, heard, and understood. And in return, they are more likely to reciprocate that love and affection in ways that build a stronger, more connected relationship. Additionally, a love that transcends performance encourages mutual exploration and growth. When partners are not focused on meeting certain benchmarks or satisfying expectations, they can be more open to experimenting, learning about each other's desires, and deepening their connection. This mutual curiosity fosters a sense of partnership where both individuals are invested in each other's well-being, both emotionally and physically. They begin to see intimacy not as a task or a challenge, but as an opportunity to strengthen their bond and share in the beauty of their connection. What many men truly want is not a love that is conditional on their performance, but a love that affirms their worth, their humanity, and their emotional needs. When intimacy is based on this kind of love, performance takes a back seat. It is no longer the focus or the measure of satisfaction. Instead, the focus is on building a relationship founded on emotional connection, trust, and unconditional love. It is through this love, free from the constraints of performance, that both partners can experience true intimacy, a bond that is deep, enduring, and fulfilling. Intimacy at its core is about more than just physical closeness. It is about the emotional and mental connection between partners. For many men, the desire for emotional intimacy is just as significant as the desire for physical connection. But true intimacy requires more than just shared moments. It thrives when both partners are honest, humble, and deeply committed to one another. These three pillars, honesty, humility, and commitment, are often the driving forces behind lasting, meaningful relationships. Honesty is the foundation of any genuine relationship. For many men, being honest in intimate moments can feel vulnerable. The idea of revealing one's true feelings or desires, especially when they are not always aligned with societal expectations, can be daunting. Yet it is through this vulnerability that a real emotional connection can be established. Men, like anyone, need to feel that they can be honest about their feelings, desires, and fears without the fear of judgment or rejection. When both partners embrace honesty in their relationship, it allows for a deeper understanding of each other's needs. Men want to feel understood and supported, and this can only happen when there is an open and honest exchange of emotions. Whether it's talking about past experiences, current anxieties, or hopes for the future, honesty provides a sense of transparency and trust that is essential for deep emotional connection. But honesty is not just about speaking openly. It's also about listening attentively. Many men secretly long for a partner who truly listens, who hears not only the words being said, but also the unspoken emotions behind them. Men want to be seen and understood, and when honesty flows in both directions, it nurtures a space where both individuals can express themselves fully. Without this honesty, intimacy becomes shallow and disconnected, leaving both partners feeling isolated, even when they are physically together. Humility is another crucial element of emotional intimacy. In relationships, men often feel the weight of expectations to be strong, to be the provider, to be the protector. These roles can create an environment where it is difficult for men to show weakness or vulnerability. Humility, however, allows them to shed these external pressures and admit when they don't have all the answers. It encourages openness about their emotional needs and desires, breaking down the barriers of pride and self-reliance. This humility invites a sense of equality into the relationship, where both partners can admit their imperfections and still feel loved and accepted. When both individuals in the relationship are humble, they create a dynamic that is grounded in mutual respect, where neither feels the need to prove anything to the other. Instead, they focus on supporting each other, nurturing one another's emotional well-being. Humility also plays a role in understanding the importance of empathy. When both partners approach the relationship with humility, they are more likely to practice compassion and understanding. For many men, this can be a transformative experience. Instead of feeling the need to be perfect or in control, they can embrace the vulnerability that comes with intimacy. They begin to recognize that emotional connection is not about being flawless, but about being real with one another. Humility allows men to experience intimacy without the fear of judgment, enabling them to open up more fully and connect on a deeper level. Commitment, the final pillar, ties everything together. Emotional intimacy cannot flourish without a strong commitment from both partners. Men desire to feel that their relationship is built on more than just fleeting moments of physical connection or temporary satisfaction. They want to know that their partner is invested in them, emotionally and mentally, for the long term. This commitment creates a sense of security, where both partners can trust that they are not only physically present, but also emotionally available for each other. Commitment requires work, and it demands consistency. Men long for the assurance that their relationship will not just be a passing phase, but a lasting bond. They want to know that their partner is committed to their growth, their emotional health, and their shared journey. This commitment encourages men to fully invest in the relationship, knowing that their efforts will be met with equal dedication. It creates an environment where both partners can continue to grow and evolve together, supporting one another through challenges and celebrating successes side by side. True intimacy is built on honesty, humility, and commitment. These elements create an emotional foundation where both partners feel seen, understood, and valued. For many men, these components provide the safety and connection they secretly desire, but are often reluctant to voice. When these qualities are present, intimacy becomes a shared experience. Not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. Both partners can open up, share their deepest fears and desires, and connect in ways that transcend the physical. This deeper connection nurtures a love that is built to last, where both individuals are committed to supporting one another, not only in moments of passion, but through all the ups and downs of life. It is through this kind of emotional intimacy that a relationship can truly thrive.